Hey folks, Maverick Watch Reviews back here with another review for you. Today we have the Brew Proto HP-1 100 meter automatic, and as usual we'll open it up, look at the fit and finish, the features and the functions, the build quality, and then I'll give you my overall impressions of this really nice Microbrand out of New York City. But first, I'd also like to invite you to become a patron of mine on Patreon. This will allow me to buy a faster laptop and better editing software. I hope to give you a new watch review at least a couple times a week. Make sure you check out my Patreon page when you get a chance. My only commitment level is $3 a month, but you can always give more or less, 1, 3, 5, 10. Whatever you can spare a month would be greatly appreciated. So here you go. Here is the outer watch box right there. Nice little Brew logo on top. Of course, you have this little advertisement right there. All right, here we go. Here is the inner watch box. Nice, sturdy watch box. I like it. Pretty nice. Y'all know I have a fetish for watch boxes. So anyway, there you go. So here's the watch. Comes on a black pillow, and of course you have the warranty card back here in the back. So let's take this thing off, and let's go over the basic specs. So let's look at the case, and that's a stainless steel PVD case. So let's look at the case. Okay, case you're looking at 37.8. Let's talk about the thickness. Thickness, we're looking at 13. Lug to lug, we are looking at 47. So I'm almost going to even say 48. And let's look at the stainless steel bracelet. You are looking at 19.3. I'm going to go ahead and say 20 millimeters. So there are the basics. Let's go over the little more in-depth specs on the left-hand side of the screen here. You're looking at 100 meters water resistant, which is 330 feet. It does have a crown over there at 3 o'clock. It has the date function down there at 6 o'clock. It has a really highly domed sapphire crystal, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. It does come with a Seiko NH35A movement with a 41-hour power reserve. It has a really interesting see-through case back, and I'll go ahead and show you that later as well. And it is windable and hackable. So there are the basic specs of the watch. Let's go a little more in depth here. Now again, this is not my normal style of watch. I don't normally review dress watches. I'm just not really into them. I like more diver styles, a little more rugged, a little more utilitarian. But I saw this and I was just kind of interested in it. I don't know why, to tell you the honest gosh truth. I don't know why this watch really interested me, but it just did. It's got a very simple but yet very legible dial. I think I just kind of like the simplicity of it. Just the aesthetic of the watch just really appealed to me. Again, this is a startup Microbrand out of New York City. They made another watch before this, which I believe was a quartz. This is their first automatic watch. And the cool thing about Brew watches is once they make a watch, they're all limited editions. Once they make a watch and sell out of it, they don't ever make it again. So technically all of their models are going to be limited edition models. So once they sell out of this, particular, I think this is called the Proto HP-1, they won't make these anymore. These also come in 2 other different colors. You have this silver, you have a gold, and then you have a PVD coated black. So there's 3 different versions of the watch, all the same price. I like the overall design. Is it almost a little too simple sometimes? Yeah, but it's just a really nice looking, classy dress watch. Again, it's not super waterproof. It's not a diver. It's not a chronograph. It doesn't have all different sub dials. It's not battery. It's not quartz power. It's not battery powered. It's not a quartz movement, which I like. I prefer automatics over quartzes any day of the week. It's not solar powered. It doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles. It's just a very, I guess the word elegant, I don't normally use the word elegant when referring to a man's watch, but it's a really elegant looking design. It feels really well built. So let's go over the rest of it. Like I said, it feels really well built. This is kind of a cushion case, so it's very symmetrical. The whole watch is very symmetrical, as a matter of fact. And I think that's why he put the 6 down here at 6 o'clock. I'm sorry, the date window down here at 6 o'clock. So it won't break up any of the symmetry of the watch, which I like. Nice little touch. The case, there are no polished areas anywhere that I could find on this watch. Everything is brushed, from the case to the links to the case back to the buckle. Everything is brushed on this watch, which again, I happen to like that. I'm not crazy about too much polishing. I wouldn't have minded a little bit of polishing on maybe the center links on the bracelet, but again, that's just, personal preference. And this kind of just reminds you of those kind of 60s and 70s style, I don't want to say lounge watch, but it's just kind of that laid back 60s, 70s Mad Men type of look to it. And one other interesting feature that I didn't notice for the first few minutes I was looking at the watch, I don't know if y'all can even see this, there's some indentations between 10 and 12, if you can see that, and they're only between 10 and 12 on the dial. And I guess maybe that's like, your coffee break, like a 10-minute coffee break timer. That's the only thing I could possibly think of. It's interesting. It really does break up the dial a little bit, but you do kind of have to notice it. You have those indentations have to catch the light for you to even notice them. Again, between 10 and 12, you'll see them right there. Let me get my big fat finger out of the way. So there you go. But other than that, just really simple indexes. Just really silk screened indexes. Nothing is applied on the watch at all. You just had the Brew logo there right below 12 o'clock and the word automatic right above 6 o'clock. The minute hand is extremely long. It reaches toward the edge of the dial, and the hour hand ends right before the hour markers. And if you notice, the 12, 3, 6, and 9 indexes are a little bit thicker than the rest of the indexes. That's really about it. There are not even any minute markers between the hour indexes. It's just a real simple, I don't want to say plain, but it's just a real simple design. Real simple dial. What else? What else? Again, all areas are brushed. There are really no sharp edges on the watch at all. I mean, everything is kind of, gently curved. You have a couple little sharp edges on the crown, but that's just going to give you extra grip to wind the watch. Again, it is windable and hackable. And that's really about, the crown has, I don't know if it's not signed, it just has this little decoration on it. And I don't know if that's going to be Brew's new logo down the road, but it just has like this little decoration on it. But looking at the bracelet, solid end links, they're screw-in links, which I really appreciate. I've always liked screw-in links. You have a butterfly deployment clasp right there, and it's got the word stainless steel on it, I believe. Yeah, underneath. You can see it right there, stainless steel. I'm not a big fan of butterfly clasp. I just never have been. I like just the regular tang and buckle designs, but it's nice. I mean, it's a very, it's a quality and well-built bracelet for sure. Unfortunately, this watch is too small for me to try on, but it's really neat. Actually, I forgot to tell you about the case back. The case back is one of the coolest features, I think. If you look on top there, you'll see the word Brew, and then you'll see, what does that say? 316L stainless steel. You have 100 meters water resistant and sapphire crystal. And then it says limited edition down there at the bottom where my thumb is pointing. And then you have another number on it. I think that's also telling the quality of the stainless steel right there. And if you look at the window exposes the balance wheel. And then if you also spin it around, there you go. There's the rotor right there. The rotor just gotten away. Let me spin it some more. There you go. And there's the balance wheel. So really interesting design. And I like it a lot. I really do. The one thing about it, this crystal, is look at the size of that crystal. So it does make the watch pretty thick. And I'm sure that was a design decision to make the watch really thick. The only problem with that is that if you don't look at the date window at 6 o'clock direct, head on, you're going to get some distortion from that crystal right there. So if you're trying to read the date at any sort of angle, you're kind of screwed because the crystal distorts the date window. So that's really kind of the only drawback so far as design goes that I can see. I'm trying to think of anything else so far, as any drawbacks that I've seen. There's no lume on the watch, which was a little disappointing. I think he could have possibly put some lume on there somewhere. For a watch in this price range, I would have expected some lume. Again, just personal opinion. Also, speaking of the price, it's a little bit expensive to me personally. I think if he had priced this maybe $150 less, but I wouldn't have priced this quite so high. It's currently for $569. Actually, is that correct? Let me double check that just to make sure. Is it $569 or $595? Let me see. It is. I'm sorry. It's $595. So $600 for a Seiko movement inside of an interesting case and design, to me, is just a little on the steep side. Now, I'm sure there's reasons why he could justify that price. Again, these are limited editions. They're never going to make them again. So, it's just kind of one of those things that, for me, it's just a tad too expensive. But that's really about it. Just the lack of lume and the fact that I think it's just a little bit expensive, that's really the only drawbacks that I see to this watch. It feels incredibly well built, incredibly solid. I know this is probably a one-piece stainless steel case. I can just tell. Yeah, I can tell. It's a one-piece stainless steel case. Just a really nicely designed and thought out watch. Is it the type of watch I personally would have designed? Definitely not, because it's just, I'm not a dress watch guy. That's just never been me. So I'm trying to think of anything else, guys. I think that's about it. If you like this, again, go over to Brew's website. Again, they're $5.95, and there are two other different colors. You have black and a gold. They're both the same price as this one, $5.95. And of course, I'll include the link in the description field for you to check this watch out. And if you like this video, please click on like. If you want to subscribe to my channel, please do so. I just surpassed 6,000 subscribers last week, which I'm really, really excited about. And I really want to thank everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I try to bring you the best watch reviews that I possibly can. I try to bring you a lot of variety, like bringing Microbrands on like this and giving some people some exposure that I think really deserve the exposure, that have designed a good product at a decent price. Again, this one being just a little bit too expensive for my book. But I want to give them exposure and try to help them out as much as I possibly can. And again, Jonathan, thanks again for saying this review unit. I hope you sell tons of these watches and you make another really cool design next year. And folks, that's been about it. Until the next review, I will see y'all later. Take care. Bye-bye.